trade wars. Two words that can send shivers down the spines of economists and everyday people alike. They represent a breakdown in the global system of exchange, a system that ideally benefits all participants. Throughout history, nations have found themselves locked in these economic battles, each side erecting barriers in the form of tariffs, quotas, and sanctions. The consequences are almost always negative, impacting not only the primary belligerents but also innocent bystanders caught in the crossfire. From the opium-fueled conflict between Britain and China to the modern-day trade war between the United States and China, the story of trade wars is one of unintended consequences, economic hardship, and political maneuvering. These conflicts highlight the fragility of global interconnectedness and the dangers of protectionist policies. While the specific causes of trade wars may vary, the underlying theme is often the same: a struggle for economic dominance, a desire to protect domestic industries, or a combination of both. Understanding the history of trade wars is essential to navigating the complexities of the global economy and avoiding the pitfalls of protectionism. First, let's understand what tariffs are. Tariffs are taxes imposed by a government on imported goods. They are used to restrict trade as they increase the price of imported goods, making them less attractive to consumers. The concept of tariffs dates back to ancient times, but they became more prominent during the mercantilist era in the 16th to 18th centuries. Nations used tariffs to protect their emerging industries and to generate revenue. This practice evolved over time, leading to significant trade conflicts and policies that shaped global trade dynamics. For centuries, China held a trade advantage over the West, exporting vast quantities of silk, tea, and porcelain in exchange for silver. This balance shifted in the 18th century, when Britain, eager to find a commodity that China would demand, turned to opium. Grown in British-controlled India, opium flooded the Chinese market, leading to widespread addiction and social unrest. The Chinese government, alarmed by the devastating effects of the drug trade, attempted to restrict opium imports, much to the chagrin of British merchants. The clash of interests culminated in the First Opium War, from 1839 to 1842, a decisive British victory that forced China to cede Hong Kong and grant trading concessions. The Second Opium War from 1856 to 1860 further weakened China, opening more ports to foreign trade and solidifying Britain's dominance in the region. The Opium Wars stand as a stark example of how trade, when driven by greed and exploitation, can have devastating consequences. The 1930s witnessed the most devastating economic downturn in modern history, the Great Depression. While the causes of the Depression were multifaceted, protectionist trade policies, particularly the infamous Smoot-Hawley Tariff Act of 1930, undoubtedly played a significant role. Passed by the United States Congress with the intention of protecting American jobs and businesses, the Smoot-Hawley Act raised tariffs on over 20,000 imported goods to record levels. The result was a global trade war, as other countries retaliated with tariffs of their own. Global trade plummeted, exacerbating the economic downturn and contributing to the severity of the Depression. Section 4, the US-China trade war, a modern standoff. In recent years, the world has witnessed a resurgence of trade tensions, this time between the world's two largest economies, the United States and China. The US-China trade war, initiated in 2018, has seen both sides impose tariffs on billions of dollars worth of each other's goods. The Trump administration argued that China's unfair trade practices, such as forced technology transfer and intellectual property theft, necessitated a confrontational approach. China, in turn, accused the US of protectionism and economic bullying. The trade war has had a ripple effect on the global economy, disrupting supply chains, raising prices for consumers, and fueling uncertainty in financial markets. The Biden administration has maintained many of the tariffs imposed by its predecessor, signaling a continuation of the trade dispute. The US-China trade war serves as a stark reminder that the specter of protectionism still looms over the global economy, threatening to unravel decades of progress toward free trade and international cooperation. Section 5. Conclusion: Lessons from the trenches of trade. The history of trade wars, from the Opium Wars to the US-China trade war, offers valuable lessons. Perhaps the most important lesson is that trade wars are rarely, if ever, beneficial. They tend to hurt all parties involved, disrupting global trade, raising prices for consumers, and hindering economic growth. Moreover, trade wars often have unintended consequences, leading to political tensions, diplomatic standoffs, and even military conflict. As we navigate the complexities of the 21st century global economy, it is imperative to remember the lessons of the past. Open dialogue, cooperation, and a commitment to fair trade practices are essential to ensuring a prosperous and interconnected world. The alternative, as history has repeatedly shown, is a path fraught with economic hardship and global instability.